Democratic Congressman Krishnamoorthi of Illinois. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in, Congressman. You've thrown your support behind Kamala Harris. What Lauren and John were just talking about, Hakeem Jeffries, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, they've stayed silent so far. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think in part you'll have to ask them, but I think that there are a lot of candidates out there who are at the last time that people had asked them were interested in potentially running, and so I think they also want the process to unfold. All that being said, I'm supporting Kamala Harris through this process in my hometown of Chicago at the Democratic National Convention, which will be, let's say, must-see TV at this point.
That's what I was gonna ask you. I mean, what should the process look like? What is the convention going to look like?
Well, as you know, the delegates now have been released by Joe Biden, and so they will have to vote again on the nominee. And so, Kamala Harris is going to have to win their support. I believe that she will. And so I think there will be a process for allowing for anyone else who wants to enter the fray to do so. But I think that, Kamala Harris is going to be a formidable contender.
Congressman Dean Phillips, he's been pushing his idea for a process would include a straw poll among Democratic delegates of potential candidates, then Harris in the top 3 or something that would come up in the straw poll, do a series of televised town halls before voting at the convention. Is that something you think would work?
I'm open to whatever process the DNC has. I think late last night, Jamie Harrison said that they were going to kind of unfold this process in the coming days. I have to tell you, my phone was just lit up last night with text messages and phone calls. I received numerous emails. There's just a burst of energy and enthusiasm right now, regardless of what process is designated. I'm sure the DNC is going to do a good job in laying that out. But I think that everyone is, A, extremely grateful to President Biden for his incredible service and putting the country above himself, and then B, excited at the prospect of a convention that's going to select the next nominee.
VP pick, do you have someone or a type of someone that you think would be a good partner for Harris?
You're trying to get me into trouble. I think there's so many qualified,
never. Just trying to get some answers.
Good trouble. Look, I think that they're excellent candidates. Look, my own governor, J.B. Pritzker, is a fabulous potential pick, but I don't know what Kamala Harris is going to decide. I look forward to learning more about that.
You are also just shifting because it's happening in just a few minutes, really. You're on the Oversight Committee, and this morning the Secret Service Director is going to be testifying before your committee. What do you want to learn from her? What answer are you going to demand this morning?
Well, there's a number of topics where there's going to be some really hard questions asked of her. For instance, the timeline is very puzzling. In the 20 minutes leading up to the shooting, there were at least 3 instances where Secret Service and law enforcement were alerted to the specific shooter in question, and yet the rally was not paused. Another issue is the AGR building. That's the building upon which the shooter was perched, was outside of the security perimeter, even though it was well within rifle range of the stage upon which Donald Trump stood. And so questions about this, as well as other topics, are going to abound. And I think Director Cheadle is going to need to answer a lot of them today.
Yeah, there's also this new reporting that the Secret Service officials had repeatedly denied requests for additional resources and personnel sought by Trump's security detail in the 2 years leading up to that assassination attempt. The agency is admitting this now, that there were requests that were denied. I asked the Secretary of Homeland Security about this last week. I want to play for you what he said.
That's a baseless and irresponsible statement, and is one that is unequivocally false.
Unequivocally false. What is going on here?
I don't know. And that's one of the questions that are going to be asked today. My overall read on the situation is that this was a terrible security failure. And, Director Cheadle is going to have to come in and answer for exactly what happened. And I guess I should just mention the reason why, in part, we are coming together as Republicans and Democrats with regard to this particular probe is that we have an ongoing presidential campaign right now. And we have the Democratic National Convention in, about 28 days. And so given that we are right in the midst of a presidential campaign, we need answers quickly. We need the investigation to wrap up and then the lessons learned to be implemented right now.
Yeah. Congressman, it's always good to have you. Thank you very, very much.